So I want to show you a little card trick. We begin by the cards being shuffled. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a card selected in maybe a more casual manner. So any card can be selected. I'll look away and the card is noted and shown. Hopefully it can be seen, yes. Okay. And so the first card is being selected and the card is put back in the usual manner. Shown always twice. You never know what situations you're in. And cut. And let's say we have a second spectator as well. So we'll do this a little bit different way. So I'll riffle the cards like this and the spectator can just openly tell me when to stop. And let's say stop right there. Okay. And the second card can be peeked by the audience. Okay. And so hopefully it could be seen by everyone. Yes. Okay. Hopefully it's in frame. I just want to make sure it's clear that everyone can see the card. Okay, and what we're going to do is we'll take the card and then place it into the pack, okay, and then give it a couple cuts as well. Now what I want to do is actually create an interesting card problem. And so here's what we'll do. I'll try to go slow and fairly. Okay, I'll take about half the cards, okay, turn them face up and you can see all of them, yes, okay, and I'll place half of them right above that face down packet and the other set of cards again face up, and I'm going to place them behind the face down packet like so. Okay, and what we're going to essentially do is create a card sandwich. And amongst this card sandwich I am not only going to try to fix this situation but also find both selected cards, hopefully in about 3 seconds, believe it or not. Okay, you ready? It's gonna happen fast, okay? Oop, you gotta be careful, you gotta be ready, okay? I just wanna do it so everyone can see the display before it happens, okay? So, on your marks, get set, 1, 2, and then spread. And you'll notice, amongst all the face-up cards, 2 face-on cards stand out from amongst all the rest. And you can see all the rest of the cards, and just 2 there, and they could be any 2 cards. And you can name them out loud, and they would be the Queen of Clubs in this case, and the Jack Clubs. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the card trick. Like, share, subscribe, you know the usual. So the main reason for publishing this particular card trick was it's a take on it's a card trick, I believe was created by Francis Carlyle in the book Scarney on Card Tricks. My father had given me an old copy of it. And essentially, I wanted to update a trick and just adding the most minimal sleight of hand. I wanted to be able to create a wonderful effect that actually anyone can use with little sleight of hand knowledge, anything of that nature. And so, I wanted to update it, but keep in the same frame where it's as minimal sleight of hand as possible. So, in essence, the only 2 real moves is just 2 double cuts. One's a double undercut, one's a regular cut, and maybe using a thumb to flip over a card, which we'll all cover, and it'll all be very smooth. But there is just so much to this because you could be able to focus more on presentation. So without any more hype to it, let's jump right into it. Okay, so the packets can start impromptu and the cards can be shuffled. You will need a table for this particular effect. Okay, so certain situations, this is ideal. Cards are shuffled. Then they can be spread in a casual manner. You could just do that. Like you can literally, no knowledge, you could just literally do that and come up with a decent spread. But let's say we using our middle finger and thumb, and then using our forefinger, we're able to do a basic ribbon spread, assuming basic knowledge, or literally just, I'm just using 2 fingers. I'm just putting pressure with 2 fingers. Well, how could we get the most magical effect with little as skill as possible? Ha! But you get the idea. The card selected, okay? Just let's assume it's a table effect. We have the cards, we can have the cards spread, dribbled, whatever, and then a card is selected, okay? And it can be shown, in this case, the 9 of diamonds, okay? And so it is noted, show my spectators, you grab up all the cards, you do the usual spread, and then you ask, can I, put your card back? Right there, yes, okay. And then you show it again because people have trouble remembering their card, okay? And so you do a thumb push off, you show it, other fingers coalescing so it doesn't seem like you're just flipping them off or giving the bird in any sort of manner, okay? So we show that card. And again, you're looking away as you do this, so it seems very fair. Okay, pull it onto the deck, get a break above, square everything up, same usual, okay? And then what we're going to do is, so again, break above the selection, rest of packet, do a double undercut, okay? So break off half of the lower packet, and you're going to do a transfer, middle finger and thumb is holding the entire packet, 2 packets. You're transferring the break, okay? So you're going from here to here, okay? And then you're going to break off half the lower packet, put it on top, clip by the thumb, put it on top, basic double undercut, rest of the packet on top. So at the end of the process, selection on top, okay? But we're not doing 1 selection for this, we're doing 2, okay? And you can even state to your audience. So what we're going to do is for the second selection, and this will create the perfect misdirection, we're going to ask the spectator, I'm going to riffle the cards, you just tell me when to stop, and when they say stop, okay, wherever they say stop, you stop, and then you casually just lift up the packet to wherever they stopped. And this will be their selection. Now, while you're noting it, so their pressure is here, so you're going to indicate that that's the packet. You're going to do a transfer of this packet that you just lifted up. This is important. People forget this in a moment, okay? So after they say stop, you lift up, okay? That's where you stopped, and then you take this packet and you put it into your opposite hand, which is going to do the move, okay? Because you want shade for this entire thing. You want it to be out of focus, out of mind, casual, because all the focus is over here. Okay? Them doing their second selection. And they're like, oh, the card's already lost, controlled, whatever. And the focus is here while you're setting up to do a really, really cool effect. So the second one, Jack Clubs. So first one's 9 down, the second one, Jack Clubs. Okay? So those are the 2 selections. So while they're noting that, okay, and while that is going on, this is the most opportune moment to get your thumb, and this is me exposing it, but normally you'd be standing down to the side doing this move, and your whole body's shaded so no one can see that you flipped over the card multiple times or whatever. It's a great cover. If you're down this side, you're just talking to the spectator, you're just a low lull while they're looking at their card or whatever, and you can do it. And so during that opportune time, your thumb is going to contact the top card, and it's going to basically just drag it out to the bottom. So it's going to take it right here, and you're going to use your other fingers to clip this packet and just basically pull it to the bottom, reverse. So the packet orientation is the top card, which was the selection, now on the bottom of the deck in reverse position, and then rest of the cards face up, okay? And you want to have in position where it's a face down selection, okay? And then rest of face up cards, which all happens naturally when you just thumb pulls the card over and does that. And I'll do it a couple times so you can see what I mean, and I'll keep it in focus, okay? Thumb pulls the card, fingers grip, and then these fingers turn over the packet while this card is just being held here. And then it coalesces and it squares up. It doesn't even need to be perfect because like you're doing this all into the shade, and you do it casually so it doesn't make any noise, or you could talk over it so you need to worry, and then you just casually come on up. You don't want to be out here doing for too long or make it obvious or awkward if the focus is shifted here. You want to make sure the focus is centered. You do the move real fast while that's going on, and then you're just talking casually and it looks all copacetic. One thing to keep in mind though is because it'll be a double reverse packet, so you want to keep this packet down and away, like back from any prying eyes. So if you're working surrounded, you just want to be mindful of how the packet shifts. You don't want to tilt it up, say, hey, why is there a double packet? That's weird. Well, if you got kids, you can lean in a little bit more towards yourself in doing it, because kids might have nowhere to go. And they look underneath, hey, why is there a packet? And then the whole trick goes awry. And it's just like, how's that my fault? Anyways, so then just be mindful to tilt the packet, okay? Or whatever, just be mindful of that so you don't expose this weird condition or state it's in, okay? So again, position check, selected card goes to the bottom, okay? It's the selection that is face down, rest of face of packet, and that is what's resting in your hand, okay? So we have that in a regular casual dealer's grip, okay? So now what we do is we're going to, so after they've looked at that, and I'll actually do it in motion, okay? Here's where we're at. They tell us when to stop, okay? Take the, let me make sure we're okay. Okay, yep, okay. take the selection, okay, peek it, okay, we got the 3 of hearts, okay, in this case, well, they're seeing it, I'm now looking at the monitor and look at this, okay, but usually I'm looking away in all performances, don't worry, I got you, fam. So, they're noting their card, and while they're noting your card, you're doing the little sneaky move, okay, but you're doing it there, okay, and now you got your card, okay, and I'll take it, and then you casually take it, okay, without looking at it. I then insert it halfway into my packet I'm holding, okay, into what is essentially face-up cards with a face-down card right on top, okay, and so we push it in, and then we're going to use our thumb to push down on this card as we push it inside, so we can maintain a loose break, okay, which is going to be inserted, be maintained. So we got that little gap right here, which is our pinky is going to insert itself inside. Okay, so we got a break. And so now we're going to do essentially a kind of funny double cut that does nothing, but it's pretty hilarious and it's very effective. And what we're going to do is take at the break, we're going to cut at the break, and we're going to take one of the packets like a double undercut. It's like essentially a double undercut, which is kind of funny, but it's a double cut. Take half the packet, clip my thumb, put it on top, get a break, square everything, make it look copacetic for maybe a quarter second so the audience could see that it's like one deck, you're not multiple and shifting and whatever, and then do the same cut again. Cut at the break, square it on top. Now what you're actually doing is you're just moving packets of face-up cards that have selections on each one, so one has one selection, and the other packet has another selection. Kind of funny. So you're just moving these face-up packets, which is cool. And it sets up for the whole plot and then square up. And so the audience seems like, oh yeah, he's cutting it, and they're reinforcing the idea casually that this packet is all face down, it's lost somewhere in there. Maybe I have control, whatever, but I only have a limited control to that context. No one would think, oh look, this is face down card, face up cards, face down card, face up cards. But I'm doing this so you can know the orientation of what it is, okay? But that's where we're at currently in position. Now we have half the deck on the table, okay? We remember when we left it off and we did this whole thing and we cut all the cards and everything. We still have half the deck on the table, which is perfect for what we need. And I say I want to do a little card problem. So I take half the deck, half of it right here. And if you know how to do a little fan spread, you can do a little fan, boom. Square everything right here, just on a loose general pile. And then place it, in this case, I believe I placed it above right here. I just want to mention one thing. It just gets a little bit awkward to hold the cards in this kind of position. Oh, let me do it face up. So you might want to bring the cards a little bit more inwards so you can avoid just like nearly falling over in the performance. Okay? And to learn from not so it doesn't spill off, I put a little further up instead of just like hanging by the edges where it can just fall out. Okay? So you place it like that. Okay? And then the other packet, again, you can showcase them, and then however you go about it, placing it at the back. And you can show this. Boom. Pretty cool. You just don't want to show this packet to show that it's still double, but you know, for the most part, your angles are pretty good, which is cool. Then you state how it's kind of like a humorous card sandwich. Very cool. Now you're going to attempt to find all 3 cards in like 3 seconds. So there's a couple ways you can go about it. The cards kind of like nearly fell over in the performance, but look good enough, so I'm like, it's all right. So one way you can go about it, like the presentation after doing 3 seconds, you could go 1, so you can push down on the top of the packet. Assuming you can get the meat of your hand out of the way, I kind of got caught right now. But if you have it straightened out with the thumb right here, okay, you can go 1, push down so it squares up, slam it down right here, 2, so that's 2 seconds, then grab the packet with the opposite hand and do a spread and get 3 to show both selections. Okay? Another way you can go about it, let me get back to our position where we're at. I'm going to spitball some cool little ideas here. So let's say we were going back to the position and we were right here. Okay? Just roll with me here. Another idea is that you can actually come from the back thumb, and then this is just cool little ways we can do it. Thumb, context back, 1, 2, 3. I think that might even be better. That looks cool. 1, 2, 3. The thumb just squares everything up and then spread. That's nice. 2 motions. There was one other idea I have, but I'm blanking on it. Let me see. If I get back to the position and can do it in my mind real fast, I can think about it. So let's see. Where were we? So that's the first one. Okay. Okay, so we're back right here. Let me put us back. There we are. Okay. And then, so I kind of actually like that thumb idea. Just thumb, square. Super cool. And another one is you could slam it down. I guess the other idea was just slamming it down, spreading, and it working. I believe that was the final idea I had, where you just slam it down, and I'll show it again. Slam it down and then showcase both. Okay? So I believe that was the final one. It looks so cool in the moment. So I'm just giving you different ideas to be with, because 90 to 95% of all the work you do in magic is never seen. And that's kind of cool and kind of sad, depending on your perspective and context and all that stuff, okay? That's a whole argument into itself. But the moments they do see, and Diver made a whole speech about this, multiple, he said, pound for pound presentation. What they do see, you do want to make it really, really special for them, okay? And so just the dramatizing of even the small gestures that don't make it, even though all this other work is more important, you did it all behind the scenes, this is what sells, okay? Just how can you sell the moment even though it isn't? How can, it's creating that idea of deception. So maybe just looks cool. So you show it one last time. Boom. Looks fair. 1, 2, 3. Slam it down. Spread. And boom. If that's your style, well, that's pretty cool. And regardless of the whole thing, this card's spread. 2 cards are shown. And then they can name it off. And then in this case, 9 of diamonds. 3 of hearts. And it's really, really super cool. It was created for a special family member, and I wanted them to be able to do magic in a professional level without having to commit the skill and everything, and just have a trick in their back pocket. And this is what I came up with, just trying to remove all the sleight of hand and all this stuff so you can focus more on the presentation, but still look great and not like there's some little secret thing hidden to it. It's really the performer, because that's what ultimately what you want. You want to get true, honest credit and just go, wow, they really are amazing, or wow, they really are the GOAT. And it's just something to think about. So again, thank you to the credits, Scarney, Francis Carlisle. That was an amazing trick, and it's been on my mind for, I want to say, around 13 to 15 years, around 13 to 15 years. And I just wanted to add my own thing to it while maintaining the spirit of it and just make it really wonderful and the whole process really smooth. And just because it was a wonderful book what Scarney had published. So with that said, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Again, like, share, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it. This is a pretty wonderful effect. I'm calling it Twin Deceptions. And catch you in the next one.